That never gets old, does it? Every time I look at it, I always go, woo! That never, ever gets old. It's just something about the excitement building up, and then there's the big crescendo, and next thing you know, it's on. Okay, so I should put something on the screen, shouldn't I? Let me get rid of that. There we go. Hello, one and all. Welcome to Royal Sussex. Well, I tell you, leave it to Harry and Meghan. There's always something that comes out first thing in the morning when you least expect it. Like, for instance, our Duchess going to vote. Um, I'm not surprised, but I wasn't expecting to see a photo. And of course, the photos are always welcome. Glad to see that. So, our Duchess voted. Going to talk about that very soon. Hello, everybody. Connie Balmer. Thank you for staying up with us, Connie. And Elaine Park, if you're here, thank you for staying up with us. Um, okay, there we go. Hello, Black Queen. Black Queen, you haven't been on here for a few days, right? Were you on here yesterday? Anyway, if not, we missed you. Whatever days you weren't here. But remember, you guys, there are no leaks in Montecito. And that is the only way all of this is possible. Because, well, you know what? I shouldn't say that because the Sussexes are going to Sussex no matter what. Um, no matter how big the foe, the Sussexes are always going to Sussex. So, that being said, if the Sussexes will Sussex, then I think Baron should Baron. Uh oh, got a little echo there, so let me take care of that. And of course, we need to let our friends on Twitter know that we're here. So let me send something over there to alert everybody that the portee has stored it. The portee has stored it. So let's get this portee sorted. Oh man. Well, anyway, I'm in a good mood. It started yesterday and it continues. Uh-oh. I should never look at Twitter when I got work to do. Okay, so let me get rid of Twitter real fast. And one last thing I need to do. Now, there we go. Cool in the gang. So, you guys, I took my time because I thought for sure that Anne was coming on today. And when I noticed that she wasn't coming on, I decided to come in a little bit earlier. So she will be on tomorrow. But yeah, it took. Hey, Joan Garcia. Ethan's husband is here. Church Nelly. Hello, Church Nelly. Um, okay. And Ray Raquel, Compton Cali Gal. And who else is here? Glendia Butts, hello, welcome. Judy Regold. Sharon Augustine, hi, Mad World, it sure is. Let's see here. Annie Bullard is here who wants to say hi to a bunch of people, I think. Sure does. Okay. Mina Ruth, hello. Madison Bonaparte. And who else is here? Ray Raquel has a bunch of hellos, as does Gwendolyn Daniels, and hello to one and all. Eliza Sane, hello, welcome. I love that name, Eliza. Puzzle Dot, hello. Marjorie, hi. Creative Life, welcome. Joan Commonwealther, hello. Okay, Lottie, hi. Okay, I'm taking a scroll back. Shouldn't go back too far because I only just, guys, I want to know, how do you guys like for me to post like just before I go on? Or do you want me to post that I'm coming on the night before like I used to? or usually would have done. Hello, Shelly L. Marshar, hi, welcome. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of like to take that pressure off myself and just send out the alert just before I go on, because sometimes life happens. And hi, Elaine Parker. And I'm not able to start at the time that I have scheduled. And I feel bad when I keep moving the time up like that. But sometimes I don't know if it's that creative gene or what, but I start thinking, oh, I can improve this. Oh, I could do better than that. And next thing you know, another 2 hours have passed. So that tends to happen sometime. But I will I will consider. I'll see what I think is best moving forward. But yeah, eh, it's not a big deal. I mean, either way, long as you get the alert, right? That's the important thing. Okay. Oh nope, that's not what I want. Huh. Okay. Sure enough. Okay, let me see. Uh, da-da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da-da, abracadabra. What cartoon was that in when Bugs Bunny was da 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 abracadabra? As I mentioned, I'm in a good mood. Okay. It was just one video that I was looking for and I can't seem to find it. And someone mentioned that I have been neglectful to uh, the Trenchtown man, so I intend to remedy that. I'm just going to look for the perfect segue. Let me see. That is what I'm going to do. I'm going to look for the perfect segue, and then we will definitely do that. Okay. All right. Enough small talk. Hello to um, Jelaine Monstein. Yes. And you want to say hi to a few people, including myself. Thank you so much. Andrea Allen. Yes. Okay. Let's move on. So, you guys, I don't mean to embarrass anyone. It is not my goal to embarrass anyone today. I'm just going to say this. I hope you voted. And if you still have time, it's not too late to vote. And I promise you, if you have not voted, you're going to be feeling mighty shame when I get through telling you why that is unfortunate if you haven't. Now, as I said before, hi, Anastasia Isabella. I see you're in a militant mood today. Very good. We may need that later. Anyway, as I was saying, oh, Miss Viv, hello. What was I saying? Oh, about voting. Yes, I hope you guys did vote. If you haven't, switch off the Royal Sussex right now and go and vote. Please do. Um, it is so important. I mean, super important that you just don't want to miss this opportunity. Um, and you're gonna be crying like a rat eating onions if you don't. Oh, is that how you spell that? No wonder I can't find it. Oh man, that doggone public school education. No wonder I couldn't find that. Huh, there it is. Whoop, there it is. No wonder I couldn't find it. I'm just looking and looking and looking. Oh man. All right. That public school education. I was looking for something in my um file and I couldn't find it. And I won't tell you what it is. You can tell me if you like, but remember, there are no prizes if you get it right. I won't even acknowledge if you get it right. But I was looking for something and I couldn't find it. And that's because I spell like a grade schooler, worse than a grade schooler. Mystic Toxin, hello, how are you? I'm glad you're here. Let me see. I'll be voting in a few hours. I have to wait for my hubby to get home to watch the kids while I go vote. Oh, wow. I love that commitment. Thank you so much for doing that. Okay. Okay. So, why am I there? I don't want to be there. There we go. There you are. Now, I did not know that this photo was on the Archwell website. Well, today our Duchess surprised us with this photo saying, I voted. And she's wearing what is soon to be the highly coveted Archwell baseball cap. What I love about the cap is that it has that weathered look. It doesn't look all new and flashy and everything. It has that kind of I don't want to say stonewash, but it does have a bit of a weathered appearance to it. And I really like that. I had a hat that I wore all over Europe. And you guys probably saw it on the wedding video. It has the big letter B on the front of it. It kind of looks purple, but before the sun bleached it, it was actually like a navy blue. But I love that hat. And unfortunately, I had to retire that thing because it just got to that point. And the thing, I bought it from a dollar store probably 10 years ago. And I was wearing that thing as recently as probably last year. So that's I love that hat. It is a perfect color combination with the rather awkward, not awkward. I mean aqua green logo with the dark letters interlocking there, Archwell, and of course there's our beautiful Duchess looking every bit the model that she is. So great look for her. Okay. Let me see. I tell you, well, if you can't get a good public school education, it helps to be street smart, preferably both. But okay, I'm scrolling. Hi, Pam Porter. Happy Tuesday to you too. Take Baron and the squad with you as you wait in line. Absolutely, you could do that. Listen to Royal Sussex while you wait in line. But yeah, it is so important. Okay, so love the photo, love the hair, love our Duchess, and of course she voted. Look at that beautiful greenery behind her there. I mean, that is so California, lush and green. And then, of course, we mentioned that Archwell water bottle. I didn't even know that was a thing. I mean, I've never seen any like, maybe this is something that they give to people on the staff or to their close friends or something. I don't know. I haven't seen any place where one could acquire the Archwell hats or bottles or anything like that. But I think that there would be quite a few Sussex Squad people uh, that would uh, that would like to have one. Uh, Sharian, I don't know. I didn't hear anything that happened. Um, hmm, I have to investigate that. Huh? I haven't heard anything about that. Ooh, well, that's interesting. But no, I haven't heard anything about that. I was kind of busy with trying to put today together. Actually, that and feeling a little lazy, but I was up very late last night working on a project. So by the time I started working today, I probably missed everything. And then, of course, I had to listen to archetypes and take notes. Um, and so, yeah, that was the bulk of my morning was trying to work out a project and, of course, archetypes, notes, and I had to get a meal in there somewhere. And of course, I had to prep my own channel, and now I'm here. Okay, and then here we go. Hillary Clinton. Why am I bringing up HRC? Hillary Rodham Clinton. Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton. She happens to be one of my favorite people in the world. And I do I do. I promise you guys. I know all of the negative, nasty things that was said about HRC, but this is someone I have followed since the 1990s, and I stand behind Hillary because just I think she's a dynamic and fantastic person, and the same judges and government cabinet members and such that she helped put together. That is the legacy of the Clintons. Love them or hate them, the Clintons. Sometimes when you hear a judge has given a favorable ruling to something that aligns with your values, just remember that it's a good chance that those judges were placed there by Bill Clinton and later on Barack Obama. And some of the people that Barack Obama was able to depend upon were people who came from the Clinton administration. So I won't go into my long, um, you know, dialogue about why I follow and support Hillary Clinton, but I do, and I always have. So the logo that you see on the screen, you may recognize that from the Hamilton. Remember the Broadway hit musical Hamilton? Well, I hijacked their logo and I created one for Hillary's campaign, which of course maybe 10 people have seen it in all of the world, but I created that. I just kind of did a bit of cut and paste. And so that is what I came up with today. All right. So, and then there's this one right here. Stolen. If you don't want this to happen again, if you don't want this to happen again, um, you have to vote. You have to vote. And you guys, there is something I just shared on the Twitter, and I hope I can share it on the community tab on the um, YouTube. But the thing is, a lot of our thoughts are being gaslighted. A lot of things that we think about day after day, a lot of positions that we take. I hope that we are being very careful because there is so much misinformation out there. And as we've just had a president who was capable of turning any lie into a truth in order to cover up some of the worst possible violations of our republic, uh, you just have to be careful. I'm not going to tell you how to think. I'm not that person, but just please be careful because I've seen. Politics has always been my thing, always since I was a kid. I've seen a lot. I've witnessed a lot, and I can hear the language that tears any person down, which is why I am such a strong supporter of the Duchess of Sussex because I could see, I could hear, I took notes. I noticed the way that she was being vetted, if you will, the same way they vetted Hillary Clinton. Um, Vetting means that you find out everything there is to know about that person, right? Well, I think they need to change the interpretation because the vetting process, while you're learning things, it seems like there's oppositional research, and then they start injecting the lies into a person's history. And just like with John McCain, whether you like or hate John McCain, the term swift boat was used against him, but it really started with John Kerry. John Kerry, a war hero, was swift boated, which is another way of saying gaslighting. It's when the lie becomes the truth. So, anyway, that is my soapbox moment about that. But we lost a great opportunity with Hillary Clinton because of all of the lies that was told. So vote, 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 vote. do not let this opportunity miss you. I am sorry it took a long time to get on today, but this is what I would have preferred to have started with earlier in the day, but that wasn't possible. So there you go. I'm telling you now, please vote. I am no longer accepting the things I cannot change. I am changing the things I cannot accept. It is a rather old cliche, slogan, whatever you want to call it, but there's not a moment when that is not true. So if you are not satisfied with the status quo, at least, at least, be in a position where you can say, I did something. I did something. That motivation is what led me to campaign for Mondale Ferraro because I didn't want to go back to the 1950s with Ronald Reagan. So there I was campaigning for Mondale Ferraro. So I don't have to tell you which direction my politics leans, and I am not embarrassed to say that I am as lefty as they get, although not totally. I mean, there are some things I am rather conservative about, but for the most part, an old lefty, or as Archie Bunker would say, the old pinko. That's me. So that is an idea of where I stand with that stuff. Now, remember I told you that you would be awfully ashamed of yourself if you have not voted, although I'm not going to judge anybody because, certain things may prevent us from getting to the poll that we cannot control or circumstances. I mean, we have lives. Um, what is that, Ray Raquel? You said, Baron, there was so many people crying because they didn't think anyone would vote for the orange person, and so didn't vote. I pray that doesn't ever happen again. Yeah, that is true. A lot of people, there's the expectation game, which is also something dangerous that is used in politics. Is the expectation game, where you pretend like there's no way I can possibly win. But remember, you guys, there was only 78,000 votes in 5 states, if you count the votes that pushed the Orange Menace in the White House, it was 78,000 votes within 5 states that won the Electoral College for him. And all they had to do was discourage people from going to the polls. You understand what I'm saying? All they had to do was to discourage people from going to the polls. And the way they were able to target 78,000 people, well, should I say, enough people to stay home, was to go into the social media and look at the algorithm, and they could tell you what you think, how you think, when you think, and how you are likely to react. And so they discourage people from voting. And so there was a lot of people who stayed home because of social media. That really did happen. I don't have time to explain to you how it happened, but trust me, what you search on your computer is part of your profile, and they know how to get to you. It's like when you look at a chair, and then all of a sudden, every place you turn, there's a chair popping up on your device. That's the algorithm. It's not a monster, but you need to be aware of it. That's it. I don't want to make you paranoid or afraid, but you just have to be aware that it is a thing. And that is the same technique that is being used to attack the Duchess of Sussex. That's why I'm here, because I've always been a bit of an activist, not as much as I wish I were, but I've always been a bit of an activist who hates a bully. So today, Andy Piarati took these pictures on my way to vote today in Atlanta. Watched her struggle walking multiple blocks uphill pushing the walker inches at a time. She wanted no help. If I can vote today, so can you. That's what she said. If I can vote today, so can you. This is a real person. This isn't just, as a matter of fact, I'm going to play the audio for you if I can. But um, how can anybody look at this woman inching her way uphill to the polling place and say, well, you know, again, no shame, stuff does happen. And election days are on a Tuesday deliberately to prevent people from voting. They just had a big runoff election in Brazil a week ago, Sunday. And the reason why they have it on Sunday is to make sure that people have no excuse not to vote. There are even some people who say that election day should be a national holiday. Well, I voted by ballot in the mail a week ago. So um, that was how I cast my ballot. Actually, it was about 10 days ago. So again, it's possible. I know some places they do everything they can to disenfranchise people. But when I saw this, my eyes began to well up when I saw this woman pushing her walker up to hill to go and vote. That image affected me deeply. So, again, let's say for whatever reason you just can't go today. There's next time and the next time. But when that time comes, please remember this lady pushing her walker up the hill. Someone who's seen it all, who found a way to get to the polling place. And now with the early votes, absentee ballots, it's easier than ever before. So there's fewer excuses. Again, no judgment. Life happens. I understand. Okay, so let's get to the audio.
Why is it so important for you to vote today?
Well, because we need to vote. We we need to vote. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
And why is it so important for you to vote today?
Well, because we need to vote. We we need to vote. I think that's important.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
And why is it?
Okay, so I wanted you to hear her voice. It was part of a longer interview, but I just wanted you to hear her voice. So anyway, that is my soapbox moment about today's election. I hope that whatever happens or don't happen for you today, that the next go round that you will make sure that you exercise your constitutional right to vote. Let me see. Diamond Pearl Gem, should I say? I drove to the polling office and dropped mine in the box 2 weeks ago. Amazing. Very good. I'm very glad to hear that. Let me see. Thanks for sharing, Varen. I saw the picture of her earlier, but did not know there was a video interview. Yes, she would not accept any help. Let me see here. I was inspired. I waited to speak with her after she voted. Her name is Lila. Lila, Lilla. Lila Moore, 82 years old, um, Reynoldstown residence. I guess that's in Georgia. Her reason for voting today is very simple: be more like Lila, and that's this reporter. He was going to cast his vote and just happened to see her. She would not accept any help. She didn't want anybody's help to get to the polling place. As you can see, she's got her medical alert device on, and she's got her walker, and she's making her way. So very, very, very inspiring. Okay. I know Gwen Stevenson. I'm very proud of her too. Very sweet lady. Okay. Here we go. Let's keep this moving. So there was Archetypes. Archetypes was amazing today. I loved it. Loved it. I would have to say that last week may very well be my fave, but this week was also um it's like as they say, our Duchess has found her voice. And when I say she's found her voice, I'm not just putting this on her because there's a whole staff of people that is working this podcast. So it's not just our Duchess, it is a whole staff of people. But either way, oh, I'm getting myself comfortable, you guys. Hold on a second. I'm going to get my notes and dig in. Okay. So, Mellody Hobson, I have to say, she impressed me every time. I mean, there were two incredibly powerful women, two entrepreneurs, powerful, entrepreneurs on the Archetypes today. Powerful powerhouses in their own right. Victoria Jackson and Mellody Hobson. Powerful. So I was just like, this is this is just incredible, the lives that they have, that they live. I shouldn't say that they've had, but that they live, and they continue to live. It's just incredible. All right. So if you remember, Mellody was on this what is the, I forgot the name of that show. Deal Books Online Summit. Yeah. So that was from the New York Times, right? And this was last November. Yeah, I think it was last November when, or was it October, when the Sussexes were in New York, or they came back to New York. I'm a little fuzzy about the timetable, but I love what Melanie said, that people say to her all the time, "You are so much nicer than I thought you would be." And I get that. I get that because as I've, have had a very long work history, when there is an African American woman with a level of authority in the workplace, um, people tend to, you know, have this idea, this stereotype about a black woman who is, in a leadership position or management position, you name it. And so I've seen that. And I've noticed that there seems to be like a different stance. And so I think that everything that Melanie said today was very authentic. That I'm sure that that is exactly what her life experience has been, because I've seen it, I've witnessed it so many times, and it's amazing that she seems like this little, how do I put this? She has a very calm and almost librarian like demeanor. But then when she started speaking further and further into the archetypes, I could see that fire. I could see the fire that she kind of keeps on the down low. But at certain points when she starts to um talk about her career and business and such, I could see that the temperature had gone up, and it was quite inspiring and very refreshing to see that, because I have never seen that side of her. I've seen her interviewed several times, but um, it just lets you know that there's a great connection that she has with our Duchess, that she was able to put on display, or should I say, you could hear the absolute command of her experience that she has, and that she doesn't shy away from the power that she has, and I love that about her. So but again, I've seen her in other, like this particular interview that she had with Meghan last year. I i didn't really see that kind of spark from her. I mean, she was eloquent, and she was, but listening to the archetypes today, I'm like, wow, I didn't know that she was like that. And it wasn't that she was boisterous or rude or anything like that, but you could just hear a bit of excitement that began to well up from her as she was talking about certain points. So if you haven't watched or I'm sorry, listened to the archetypes, please do. And I don't know, maybe later share with me whether or not you noticed that there was a bit of an uptick where she seemed to talk a little faster, and not so, that librarian tone that she usually has. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed that. Okay, so let me see here. Also, looking at my notes, proudly ambitious. I love that. Proudly ambitious. And why shouldn't she be, right? That is what I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think Melanie said that I don't want to say that Meghan said that to her, because I know it was mentioned because I got it here in my notes, but I believe that Melanie said that she was proudly ambitious. And um either way, I loved hearing that, because it's a shame. It would be a real shame for someone to shrink themselves down so that they can fit into a nice tidy space, so not to alarm other people. And by doing that, whatever brilliance that you have, you are going to suppress it if you try to please people um with that shrinkage, by being 50% of yourself. So fortunately, I don't think that she's lived her life like that. And of course, she obviously would discourage anyone from allowing that to happen to themselves. So I can see why she and our Duchess are friends. So very cool. Okay, very sorry, you guys. That was my allergies playing up with me. Um, Let me see. Okay, she said that herself. That's what I thought. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, because I was starting to doubt myself. I wasn't sure exactly which direction that came from. Oh, but thank you so much for helping out. Okay, yes, Melanie was so energetic, I didn't recognize her voice. Marshar, that's what I'm saying. And I can't help but think that there was such a connection with our Duchess that she kind of let loose a bit in a way that I've never seen from or heard from her before. So I'm just like, I enjoyed that rapport. I'm so glad that she was comfortable enough to do that. So, and when that a person does that, that is saying I trust you. That is literally saying I feel like I can trust you. So, and Megan seems to have this effect. She seems to have this approach where people can relax and say things, and and it's not a I gotcha. She's not doing the I got you with anyone, as Paris Hilton said. She thought, I think it was Meghan said to Paris Hilton, "Don't worry, this is not a I got you." And so, I think that's very important. I think you can get more out of a person if you show the proper amount of consideration and empathy rather than trying to score some type of clout or something. So let's see. And my other favorite was Crotch to Conquer, and that comes from the book Out of War. Crotch to Conquer. So again, if you haven't watched it, please don't just listen to my review. Make sure you go and check it out for yourselves. But Crotch to Conquer, I can only imagine that means that you get low, you observe, and when the time is right, then you let loose, right? Then you approach. Then you make known your intentions. And that's very important because if you're just acting without any regard or consideration for your situation or where your place in the hierarchy or something like that, then you could definitely find yourself in a lot of trouble. And so you want to be big when it's necessary to big up. But by crouching to conquer, and this is my interpretation of what they mentioned, by crouching to conquer is saying that I am observing, I'm building up my resources, and when the time is right, in the time and place of my choosing, I am going to make my voice heard. I am going to make my presence known. So that is my interpretation. Please let me know if you agree with that or not. Okay, and then let me move on here. Okay, that's my handwriting. I know that. Okay. What is this about backup something? Uh oh, okay, I know what it was. Okay. So Mellody mentioned that in her business life that there was a man that she worked with that was, how do I put this, that seemed to be intimidated by her, who seemed to shy away, who decided that he wanted to sit across the room because the more she was being herself and the more she was sharing and speaking, this guy seems to have withdrawn himself from her space, and he didn't feel as comfortable around her for whatever reason. And I was so fascinated listening to that because it let me see. Okay, I'm pretty sure that everyone can relate to that, where you've had someone who would like shrink in your presence, you know. And I don't see myself as that person, but I can think of a couple times when I thought I was being polite and considerate and just wanted to. Okay, I'm going to tell you what it was. Not exactly, but I'll tell you what it was. But it was I had trained someone in the workplace, and they would never let me see them actually work. But I heard good things about that person, and apparently I had been a good trainer for that person. But I think they were just a little bit intimidated to allow me to see it, and to this date, I uh, I still have never seen this person work. And so when I was like, well, I just want to, nope, I'm not ready yet. That was the answer that I got. So I've seen like where not exactly as Melanie said, but this person seems to on several occasions have kind of shrunk away from me, um, ever so respectfully, but just and if I don't if I would not um lay on any subject that was work related, then we could be close. We could talk to each other face to face. But anything else, there was this shrinking away. So I've had that happen a few times, and it's just a matter of how a person projects on certain occasions, and it may be a situational thing. And as Melanie said, she lowered her voice, and I don't want to use the word demure on her behalf, but maybe she was more demure in a certain way that was less threatening to this gentleman, and he was able to say, um, "Sit with me." And this was after and I don't want to tell you the whole story. Please go see it for yourself. But it went from being across the room to, "Can we sit together?" Once there was on a different occasion, and she was not as animated about work or whatever it was. So thought that was very interesting. And I think having listened to that on Archetypes, there will be times in your own personal lives where you can reflect, and maybe you'll see that you've had that impact on someone, not all the time, but just sometimes, and not every individual in your life, but just some. So right, Black Queen, exactly. I'm telling you, this was quite the archetypes. I just didn't know whether or not we were going to improve on last week. And I'm not saying that last week still doesn't have me sold as my favorite, but this one, this was very good too. Let's see. Is it Harlan Baker? Says, I agree, Baron. Crotch to conquer is what lions on the hunt do. Yeah, that's right. The lions get in the tall grass, and they get down low just before they spring into action. Yeah, that's a very good analogy. You're absolutely right. Um, okay, so yeah, J Matt, we talked about that yesterday actually. So I'm not going to get into that one again today because I don't know that anything has changed. But um, yeah, we talked about that yesterday, and the that subject or topic is is going to continue to resonate. So, but yeah, you can talk about it now if you like, but I'm not going to get into that again because we just did that yesterday. So yeah, feel free to continue with that. I will if anything happens, then or should I say if something else happens with that, then we'll definitely talk about it another day. But yeah, that was something we discussed yesterday. Okay. Kathy Gabby says, "Hey, Baron and Squatties, Melody is a powerhouse. She was probably more energized because she was talking with her friend and mentee. She can absolutely read any room and take on another's perspective." Oh, I love the way you say that. That is very well worded, Kathy Gabby. Yep, absolutely. I agree with that. Okay. You guys are all like on fire. I mean, by all means, I'm just looking at some of the comments, and I'm just like, um, very cool. I'm glad. I'm glad that we are energized and motivated because depending on how the election goes today, or the midterm election, should I say, depending on what the turnout is, we may have to, you know, take the conversation to them more than we are already. So, okay. So, oh, and you know what? I want to say something else too before I get too far because I don't want to forget to mention this. But let me take a look back here because I think something happened today that may have been a first. And you know what that is? Well, can you guess what it was? Anybody? I give you like that 60 seconds you need to get the answer on the screen. But something happened today with the royal family that may be a first. That's my hint. There was something that happened today. There was an act by a member of the British royal family that I believe is an absolute first. I haven't seen it mentioned anyplace, but I'm just going to guess. There was a first today that happened with a member of the royal family. As a matter of fact, a senior. Yes, Ray Raquel, very good. Meghan voted. Has stepped back from duty, but she is still a senior member of the royal family, and she voted today. And I believe that is a first. By the way, Ray Raquel, there are no prizes, but you are absolutely right. Our Duchess is a senior member of the royal family. Again, there are no prizes, but you get street cred for getting it right. And that is what happened. And I haven't heard anybody mention that. And I'm just like, huh? It seems like the tabloids would have like driven that into the ground. Oh, I can't believe it. Who does she think she is? But you know what? They'll do that tomorrow. I promise you that will happen tomorrow. The reason why they don't want to make a big deal about it today is because they don't want to encourage more people to vote. So they'll get around to that shade tomorrow. I guarantee you. But thank you, Ray Raquel. That is amazing. I love it. Again, there are no prizes, but you get what they call street cred. Uh, okay. So back over here. Back over here. Yes, tomorrow there will be hell to pay tomorrow. All right, back to my notes then. Let me see. Okay. I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you. Now I can be a bit perverse and a bit of a weirdo, but I have to say this. And I'm not embarrassed. When she says, I come in hot, and I don't mean that in a gross way, but she says, when I come in hot. And again, I heard that fire in Melody's voice that I've never heard before. And she's just like, yeah, don't get it wrong. When I come in hot. So as she's saying how she managed to tone her voice down so not to intimidate this guy, and if you recall, she said, "That's not me, that's you." I love that. I thought I was gonna fall out the chair when she said that. If you are intimidated, that's not me, that's you. I'm just like, okay, she's something else. She is going there. If you are intimidated, that's not me, that's you. That was so cool. If you're intimidated, that's not me, that's you. Ah, woo! Ah, I loved it. I loved it. So, anyway, and then she follows that with, but don't get me wrong, when I come in hot. I'm just like, is anybody else as turned on as I am right now? Right, Joseph Berto. I admire strong women and don't consider them BS just for being strong and ambitious. Men don't get called names for being strong and ambitious. You're so right, Joseph Berno. And so, like I said, I was getting rather turned on by it in, a kind of superficial way. But I was like, wow, this is exciting. I started getting excited. So, yeah, I'm just like, want to go bowling or something? Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that was very cool. So I can see why the person that she's married to finds her exciting, because on the one hand, you have this contrast between this sweet librarian, and next thing you know, there is the S&P 500 chairman that you're talking to face with someone who has great command and agency over her life, and I mean, what man wouldn't find that exciting? So that was very cool. um learned a lot today, and that she's had a very popular TED talk. How about that? That she's had one of the more popular TED talks. So let me see, let me make sure. Am I looking at this? Okay. Am I? Oh wow, this pretty much this whole thing was dedicated to her. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah, you're very intimidated. If you're very okay, if you're intimidated, if you find, let me see, you're very intimidating. Oh yeah. So she mentioned that someone referred to her as very intimidating. And she said, if you are intimidated, it's because you choose to be. Again, if you find me intimidating, it's because you choose to be intimidated. That's your choice. It is your choice. And I have to say, I would find it difficult to feel sorry for anyone in corporate America that is intimidated by Mellody Hobson. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if you have gone through the trouble of getting a fine education, I suppose that you're even in the same room or in the same office suite or in this on working on the same floor with someone like Melanie, then you better bring your A game. Otherwise, you should go home. Either go big or go home. And I just think that that's very important, because look at it like this. If anybody thinks that that type of fire, if you will, if her type of business, um, uh, I guess, practice is intimidating, your doctor is not supposed to be intimidated if you're ill. If you're having some type of episode or a heart attack or a stroke or something like that, your doctor is not allowed to be intimidated. And it's the same thing with an attorney. If you retain legal service, your lawyer is not allowed to be intimidated when they get to court. And so, if you are in the business world and you find yourself sitting across the table from someone like Miss Hobson, you are not allowed to be intimidated. If you are intimidated, then that is your choice. But you're not supposed to be. You're supposed to know enough to, you know, to fight your corner. And if you're not, don't blame her, because your spine, if you're not spined, but spine has suddenly become non-existent. Don't blame her for it. So I promise you, I got my life today with archetypes. That was quite amazing. It like makes me feel more motivated to not shrink away from confrontation, not shrink away from things that I think is right. And for the most part, I like to think that, even though, like, I know sometimes you guys are like, Baron, you're too nice. Baron, you're too nice. Baron has never been that nice. Trust me, I haven't. As I mentioned the other day, I'm a Scorpio. So I'm not really all that nice Most days I am, but when I'm standing on principle or when I'm defending people that I know and love, yes, I can be somebody's nightmare easily. Sometimes I feel bad that I have to show that side, but when I feel like someone is being a bully, then that's when that other part of me comes out. Because I don't like a bully and I don't like people to take advantage of other people, and especially someone that may be deemed as weak and undeserving. I don't see anybody in that way. I think that everybody, deserves to be respected, and your character is really defined by the way you treat other people. So, I've always had that principle since I was very young, and so that is how Royal Sussex happened, was just out of principle and not for any other reason. But it gives me pleasure doing this work, and as I always say, thank you all for trusting me to do this work because that is very important. Let's see. uh, oh yeah, there was a thing that Megan said about the curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. So I remember curiosity killed the cat, but I've never heard the other part of that. That satisfaction brought the cat back, or however she said it, brought it back. Let's see, Baron. I love that, and if anyone wants more from you, tell them they they really want Jesus. Oh, thank you, Joanna. Let me see here. Hello, Sharon, Marcia, Lawrence, Hunter. Let me see. This is one of the big reasons that you take me there, and the rest of the royals can can I stand with Meghan is just because she speaks very well and she's more educated than all of them put together. Jealousy, yeah, yeah, and so as I was listening today, this is what I was thinking, that this idea that, oh, she's a narcissist, and that they, and when I say they, I mean the institution, it just seems to behoove them to witness someone like Megan into their space and not be intimidated by them all. I really do believe that um, coming into that space, a whole and complete person who doesn't see any reason to be intimidated, who doesn't see it necessary to downplay her abilities just to fit in. Obviously, she's not the one that was intimidated. They were intimidated. They love to believe that, oh, she just didn't understand our ways and she didn't know better. No, that's not the case. You all couldn't measure up. That's what it is. And as Melanie said, that's your choice. That's you, not me, because they couldn't measure up to her and they felt intimidated. They went on the attack. And that's all to it. They went on the attack. They came after Megan because she wasn't pitiful and humble enough in their presence. She wasn't groveling and all that pomp and circumstance stuff didn't mean the same thing to her that it means to most people they encounter. And so, as the outsider coming into that space and not downplaying her intelligence, that seems to have been a problem. And I'm sure that there was more to it than that, but I'm pretty sure that part of it didn't help her case when it came to that institution, because as we paid for the wedding, we paid for the wedding. Well, you're going to pay for a wedding either way. However, it turned out, you were still going to pay for a wedding. You were still going to pay for this big production for the institution, not for Harry, not for Meghan, but to build your brand, the institution. So what they did with that brand that's on them. It has nothing to do with the Sussexes that brand has been tarnished because they have been exposed as being racist or pompous and arrogant and dare I say, um, increasingly they're showing that the institution is irrelevant. Don't blame her for that. They were already on a slippery slope. And remember, you guys, after the coronation, there is going to be a long period where that institution is going to have to work very hard to think of things to do to make themselves look relevant. The next big event will probably be, a wedding with one of William's kids, but that may be 20 years from now. I can't think of anything else that's going to happen. So maybe a slim down monarchy is not a good idea. Okay, so let's move on. Let's move on. Um, there is Harry and Mellody. If you guys haven't seen it, I put a link to this some time ago. But there was an Obama Foundation summit, and Prince Harry was interviewed by Mellody, and then the young man in the yellow tie, I believe he's a Chicagoan, and the young lady is from Britain, and both of them are two incredibly intelligent young people. And so, Harry, to show you how intelligent Harry is, Harry did not speak much. After he was interviewed, just like everyone else in the room, he was very impressed with those young people. And he did not try to identify with them and try to, ingratiate himself to the situation. He said it before, and he says it all the time that my background doesn't give me certain insight. There's things I've had to learn, and he knows that he's come from a gilded cage, and he doesn't pretend otherwise. He's not trying to be something that he's not just for the sake of it. And so I thought that was very impressive that he literally spoke, and then he yielded so much of the situation to those young people. And Melanie had to pull him back into the conversation. But he was there to listen and learn as much as he was there to talk about himself. But I believe that Barack Obama um, had asked him to do this event, or maybe Melanie asked him to do this event, but he did. But I really, really enjoyed the fact that he was eloquent and he spoke clearly, but he did not try to own the situation. He didn't excuse himself. He sat, he listened, he learned. So I thought it was absolutely brilliant. This is why Harry has the status, has the respect that he has from so many people, is because he always hits his marks. Like anyone with training, it, of course, him being a former military person, a veteran of, was it Afghanistan or Iraq? Afghanistan. Um, he knows his marks. He knows his place. He knows when to speak up. He's a great leader, and he also is a very much great listener. So this was a great forum that they have there. So I will remember. I promise I will put it back on the community tab. So if you haven't seen this, you should. It was wonderful. And it just goes to show you the many facets of Mellody Hobson, that yes, she's a great person to interview, and also she's fantastic interviewing people. So I'm so much more impressed with her today than I was a month ago or 2 years ago. So much more impressed with her. Um, just an amazing person. Let me see. Okay, Very good. Glad to hear that. Thank you so much, Ruth Lopez. Naomi Maria says, Baron, I remember watching this stage forum. It was very interesting. And yes, Harry respected and highly praised these young people. Didn't he though? He did. Absolutely he did that. I was so every time I hear Harry speak, I'm always impressed. Always. Always. Um I'm not even going to do a comparison. I don't have it in me to do it right now. I'm not. But I'm just so much more impressed with him than anybody else in that family. Uh Gosh, that took discipline cuz I wanted to go there. All right. So let me see here. I actually started reading my notes from the other side of the page, which was bad, but that's okay. Mellody Hobson talks women and power on Meghan Markle's podcast. The topic of the conversation, the B word, and how it wielded and how it's wielded against women in power. Okay, I'm not going to get into the B word part. Much like the Duchess of Sussex, um, her thing with the B word is my thing with the N word, and I don't know. We probably got that in common too. So it is a touchy subject, and I'll just say this: you need to go to the podcast because I'm not going to go into as much of that stuff. There were warnings about the language in the podcast, and so there was a good reason for that. And if you or not if, but when you go to listen to it and make sure you rate it, then you'll see why I'm just going to skip over that part. Meghan Markle says difficult is a code word for the B word in latest podcast episode. Yes, that is true. Again, you have to go to the podcast because I don't want to start that conversation. This is not the right place for it. So, okay. And later on, I'll show you guys the gift I received in the Amazon yesterday. Okay, so who is Meghan Markle's friend Victoria Jackson? Details on the powerhouse makeup entrepreneur. Again, I was so impressed with this woman. I mean, I don't know if her position qualifies her for a Nobel Peace Prize, but she really does deserve a Nobel Peace Prize. It's amazing. It's amazing that this woman hasn't run for president yet because her ability to skillfully turn a bad situation into um let me see into a I guess into a quest let me see. Yeah, I would say it was a quest, a life quest to um to change the way people talk about um well, okay, the way people approach a situation in the medical community. It is something that you have to listen to yourself, okay? I did take some notes, but it's such an inspiring story, and her part of the podcast really deserves to be listened to directly. So yeah, let me just get through my notes here because I've been on for an hour and 15 minutes and I haven't gotten very far. Okay, the B word. Let me see. Robin Thede, the comedian. Oh yeah, she had Robin Thede. I don't even have a photo of her for some reason. Robin Thede, comedian, writer, and fellow Wildcat. I think that's the name of the team from Northwestern, the Wildcats. And she's on the Black Lady Sketch Show. That is, I love the Black Lady Sketch Show. I haven't seen much of it, full disclosure, but what the bit of it I have seen, especially where the all the black ladies are in the courtroom. Remember that Black Lady Courtroom? Black Lady Courtroom. That was hilarious. It is very well written, very well produced. I love it. And if I watched more things, I would definitely watch more of it. But I know this may be hard to believe, but I usually watch a lot of educational stuff and not as much comedy and things like that. So yes, that is how I spend the bulk of my time is I'm constantly learning and studying stuff. And you guys know my big weakness is architecture. So yeah. Let me see. Joy Amor says, yes, that's true, Baron. Watch out for those nice people. Don't let them fool you. They will show the other side. So I know you can too. Yes, yes. Uh, oh, man. That doggone Scorpio inside of me. I told you I was in a room with two other Scorpios, and I was just like, shouldn't we be trying to kill each other by now? Right? It's just like, when are we going to start like trying to mop the floor with each other? At a certain point, we're going to start exposing our dark side. You can't have too many Scorpios in one room together. That's never a good thing. But Scorpios are so loyal. If you got a Scorpio that you're close to, you got somebody who will go to bat for you every time. Not sometime, every time. Scorpios are ride or die. Ride or die. You picked the wrong chick to mess with. Ride or die. Say hello to my little friend. Say hello to my little friend. So, yeah, if you got a Scorpio friend, you got to ride or die. Okay. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't have a whole lot to say about Robin Thede. Mellody Hobson was an intern before she became part of this investment firm. She was a receptionist. Is that right? She was a receptionist. And let me see. Yeah, I think she was a receptionist. Then she became an intern. Or was she an intern and a receptionist? 100 Most Powerful Women. TED Talk. Let me see. Financial literacy. That's what I was looking for. Financial literacy. If you guys have not embraced this, financial literacy. Now, that is something that I have been working on lately is to be more financially literate. It's never too late. It's never too late. You can always improve. There's always something to improve. It's never too late. So if you are not comfortable with money, get comfortable. If you don't like paying attention to money, start paying attention. It's never too late. It's necessary. And also, if you got young ones, if you don't know what you're doing with your money, how will they ever know what to do? So you got to do it. You just have to. It's necessary. Financial health is part of the overall family health. It just is. So I love that Melanie is a strong proponent of financial literacy, especially for women. Do not, I repeat, do not leave it to other people to count your money, to plan for your future. Get involved. You don't have to do everything, but get involved. Know what's what. That is financial literacy. Know the power of money. I love, and again, you have to go to the podcast to get the whole story. But I love the way Melody was speaking. Oh, sorry about that. The way she was speaking about her experience with money, how she grew up poor, and that her mother used to have to borrow gas just to take her to school, I think it was. So, yeah, very, very important. But she didn't have it easy. Okay. I need to do some scrolling because I think I'm way far behind. Oh, not so bad. Yes, I remember that. Tina had spoke of a financial workshop at one time. Pam from Facts and Two Cents was talking on investment. I hope they'll do a platform. Yeah, and if you have a Chase account, if you have any kind of bank account, start talking to those bank officers. Like, for instance, a CD, whatever financial institution that you're using, just start saving some money. If your credit is bad, tell them you want to fix your credit. They will come up. Those people are there for a reason. Don't get into something before you do your research, but they're there for a reason. And yes, they're going to make money either way. But have a conversation. You got to talk about it. Don't look the other way. And it's never too late to put things right. So you got to pay attention and don't wait for Tina and Petal and Pam or anybody. Start doing it today. Just put something away. Think about your retirement. And if you're already retired, then come up with another plan while you're retired. But yeah, I mean, it's just never too late. So I love that part of the conversation is the financial literacy. But looking the other way, it ain't going to help your situation. Let me see. Grit, kindness, and perseverance. Is that how she described herself, Melanie? Let me see. Her mother was a brutal pragmatist. Yeah, brutal pragmatism. That's how she described her mother's way of raising her. Desperate to understand money, she said. And then the thing about getting her teeth fixed, Dr. Thompson was the orthodontist that she went to see as a 12-year-old. She knew she wanted her teeth fixed, but she didn't know how it was going to get done. So she went to the dentist to figure it out. And he gave her a little book so that she could finance you know, fixing her mouth, getting some braces. And it just goes to show that just like our Duchess, as a young girl, she seemed to know a lot about herself. She seemed to have intention in everything she was doing. So it's no wonder that they're friends. Now, um, as for Victoria Jackson, she started her makeup line. After doing makeup in Hollywood for years, she decided to create a makeup line, and she spoke about some very dark periods in her life, including her daughter getting a diagnosis that was so horrific that I think most people probably would not have survived it as well as she has. But, of course, she's had resources for some time. And at that time, she, was financially able to fight for changes for her daughter's life. But it's not limited to the fact that she was just this rich woman who could write a check. Oh my God, I'm getting emotional thinking about this. But the fact that she was told, why don't you just write the checks? Why are you doing this to yourself? But she didn't stop there. She fought for her daughter. She's fought for other people's kids that she may never meet and came up with a three different therapies for a very rare illness that most people probably wouldn't even thought was viable. But she's not a medical professional, she's not a scientist, but she learned what she needed to learn so that she could have conversations with people so that they could all collaborate for change. That was, oh man, that should be a movie. That should be a movie. If you're going to make a movie about somebody, they need to make a movie about her. That should be a movie because it's really important to just not write the check, but to roll up your sleeves and to get involved with the treatment, the change that's necessary. So I can't even describe it, you guys. You gotta go and listen to Archetypes. Today was just I've never seen or not seen, but I think in all of the Archetypes, and there's been some real powerhouses on there, but today I was so much more impressed than I thought was possible, having seen the other Archetypes. But it was incredible, and it's kind of a full circle moment, because when you consider the voices that we've heard on Archetypes from the very beginning right up until this moment, um, to today's Archetypes, it's incredible how they all seem to have so much in common. They're more, I would say, everyone that Megan has had on the show has been more alike than different. They all seem to have some level of activism, and that they have all survived some pretty horrendous things in one way or the other. Um, and of course, it was like really that know thyself moment with everyone. So yeah, it's been incredible. I just don't want it to end. And the good thing is, I think there's another one next week, right? So that's I think I'm done with Archetypes then. Let me see. Where am I? Oh, yes, I am. Fortunately, I have gotten to this. The person who risks nothing, does nothing, and has nothing. So that is what I got from today's archetype. I know that it was about the B word, but this is what I got from archetypes is risk. And both Victoria Jackson and Mellody Hobson both risked a lot. They had to put themselves out there. They had to literally motivate themselves to put themselves in positions with people that they, I don't think they could have known that they would have been as powerful and continue to be as powerful as they are. But um, spectacular, absolutely spectacular. So I don't know what to do with this energy I have right now. I just feel like I need to be more motivated. I need to do more. I need to rise to the occasion more, and speak out more. Right. That's what I got from today. Is just not to shrink, and to keep standing up. And what better day to receive that message than election day? What better day than election day? So that is my take on archetypes. I hope that in some way I was able to do justice to what I think was one of the more moving, spectacular shows. But I promise you, if you don't do anything else productive this week, please go and listen to the podcast, because I'm motivated, I'm emotional, and I definitely learned a lot. Let me see. Kathy Gabby, you say it's my new favorite. Yeah, right? Right? The person who risks nothing, does nothing, and has nothing. So it just makes me want to take more chances. Not reckless, but just making my voice heard. So okay, let's move on to another topic, shall we? Let me see what's coming up next. Oh, there's that bit of work. Okay. Hit it. Well, Dutch is difficult. As you know, um, Okay, so yeah, this still is on the topic of archetypes. Megan used the term difficult, I want to say several times, or does it just seem like it was several times? But Megan mentioned difficult, and of course, that did not escape the notice of Narnia. But this is a trope that has been thrown at her for quite some time. How the palace tried to rescue Duchess Difficult. Did they really? The Meghan Markle Duchess Difficult rumor just won't stop, and this one is bizarre. I'm not done yet. The British tabloids fall out of, wait, the British tabloid fall out of love with Duchess Difficult Meghan. And then there's the Star, which says, I'm not the Star, the Mirror, that says Meghan was branded Duchess Difficult despite Harry throwing a fit, claims author. Andrew Morton, the author of the updated book Meghan. Oh, God, he gives me gas. Never mind. I'm done with that. Well, I would say that this is the likely source, the likely alleged source of the Duchess Difficult. I do believe that it came from that room, somebody or some people in that room full of people, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir, along with the tabloid media, as we have often said here on Royal Sussex, that the calls are coming from inside the house. The calls are coming from inside the house, as he says. It's much easier for them to blame anything uncomfortable on racism rather than address the fact that the negativity toward them is coming from within the royal family. That's what he said. And so from that, we get the calls are coming from inside the house. That is where that comes from, is because of these people, I am certain. But I don't know 100%. I'm just guessing. I wasn't there, etc., etc. All of this is alleged, but I just got a feeling that that's where it started. Is that there were some late night phone calls to somebody or a lot of somebodies, and that's where that comes from. The old rumor mill. There you go. Smug and smugger. Tweedledee and Tweedledum. Duchess Doolittle and Workshy Will. Well, if you ain't working every day, what else do you have to do but gossip and to spread rumors and stuff? Meghan Markle is not your scapegoat. She never has been and she never will be. So, this is why the Sussex Squad exists. Because without the Sussex Squad, you would have another Princess Diana situation where you have a very powerful institution and no pushback. You have a out of control media and no pushback. Well, now there's pushback. There's social media. And even without the Sussex Squad, you have the young people who know that there is something nefarious going on with that institution and the Duchess of Sussex. And the young people, especially on TikTok and such, have been very apt to call them out. And so will we. Baron is so funny. What did you call them again? Oh, man. Workshop Will, Duchess Doolittle, Wadey Katie. I mean, they have a bunch of names. Anyway, there's our Duchess looking serene and beautiful, peaceful under a tree. And so we cannot allow these people to ruin our mojo. Sorry for the water bottle crunching in your ears. Okay. All right. So apparently, our Duchess is a bit of a word nerd, as she put it. She called herself the word nerd. My obsession with this show was so deep, you guys, that when Alex Trebek passed away, I started receiving texts of condolences. I'm sorry, I started to receive texts of condolence. I didn't know him, but everyone who knew me knew how meaningful Jeopardy and its host was to my day to was as a daily part of my life. So that is what our Duchess said about Jeopardy. Now, I know that she's not the only member of the royal family who is obsessed with Jeopardy. Nay, nay, she's not the only one. There are others. And if I could just remind you about that obsession, I would like to do that because I think it's important that everybody knows that she's not the only one.
Prince William was given the title Duke of this place. He's now the Duke of Cambridge. Despite living in the U.S., Prince Harry and Meghan Markle retain their titles Duke and Duchess of this place. Pam.
What is Sussex?
Correct.
Well, so like I say, they can't be the only ones. There's got to be other people in that family that are obsessed with the Jeopardy show, especially since nobody seems to know where their what their titles are. So I just got reminded of that when I heard them mention Jeopardy today. Well, that triggered me, and I realized I'm like, hey, wait a minute. That kind of reminds me of the time, right? That reminds me of that time. So there you go. All right, so let's keep it moving here. On his wedding day, that's right. I could just imagine when he heard about that, the look he must have had on his pathetic face. I'm sure it looked a lot like that. Oh, Carol, what is going on with you, girl? Carol and Mike place in royal family, how the Middletons have become a core part of the royal life of Prince and Princess of Wales after attending both the Queen's state funeral and committal service. Well, that means they're in like Flynn, aren't they? Finger clicking Carol Middleton, Mom Carol, bombards staff with 71 emails a day and docks their pay for going to the dentist. Well, it's a good thing Mellody Hobson didn't work in that family. These are just a couple of the older stories. The one on the left, of course, is the more recent. But yeah, she's known to be a bit of what do you call it? A piece of work, as they say. She's known to be a piece of work. Very complicated person. Hard driving. She's like the Kim Kardashian of that social set. Now, if you take a look here on the left side of this photo, you can see that, like mother, like daughter, Carol Middleton enjoys a nice evening out from time to time. Well, what could I say? The daughter gets it honestly, right? She gets it honestly. I mean, as they say, the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. And you can see here, I love that. I don't know why when I look at that picture of Carol on the left side, it just kind of reminds me of some woman living in the old West, like some kind of, let's say a woman who owns the local saloon. She just she has that saloon owner's look about her. She just kind of looks like her name is Belle. Yeah, Belle. That's Belle's saloon. Yes, Belle owns this saloon, and don't you all forget it. Yeah, for some reason, she just seems like. I wonder if Arthur Edwards took that picture of Carol on the right side. You think? Do you guys think that's an Arthur Edwards photo? Let me know if you get that reference. Yeah, of course, Reba Henderson. I bet you they never called her difficult. Well, anyway, shady is as shady does. Shade. And of course, one of my favorite Carol Middleton moments is this one right here. What was that? Beverly Leslie. What was that he said? Not what was his name? Beverly Leslie. Oh, Leslie Jordan. Leslie Jordan. Well, well, well. Karen Walker. I thought I smelled gin and regret. Why do I expect why do I expect Leslie Jordan to walk up to her any minute and say, well, 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 Carol Middleton, I thought I smelled gin and regret. Well, 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 Carol Middleton, I thought I smelled gin and regret. Yep, I don't know why I'm getting that vibe. I'm getting that Karen Walker vibe. But yeah, for some reason, I am getting that very Karen Walker vibe. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But as they say, admitting you have a problem is the first big step, is admitting you have a problem. Not that anybody has a problem, but I'm just saying if someone does have a problem, admitting there's a problem is the first big step. That way you don't have to disappear from public view for 30, 60 to 90 days. Because sometimes those Middletons, you don't see them for 30, 60 to 90 days. So that's it. You could throw Uncle Gary in there too. Well, well, well. If it isn't Carol Middleton, I thought I smelled gin and regret. Woo! Uh-huh. Well, oh man. Well, I have nothing else to say. I just share that again. Anyway, you guys, I found this beautiful photo in my vast archive of images, and I thought I would share it with you as we are slowly entering the end of our broadcast day. Now, don't worry, I'm not about to play the national anthem. I mean, I don't know the words anyway, so why would I do that? This is a present I received yesterday. If you guys remember Nathan, who interviewed me on the Royal Sussex some time ago, Nathan was thoughtful enough and knew me well enough to realize that there was something missing. I didn't have any official Harry and Meghan tea. So, for my birthday, he decided to remedy that by sending me this wonderful English breakfast tea in this beautiful enamel case. So, well, enamel tin. Isn't that nice? So as you can see on one side, there's the image of our Duchess. On the other side, you can see Prince Harry. Well, actually, you can see it here. There's Prince Harry peeking at you on the other side there. And then on the back, there's some more information. So I am going to try this tonight as I'm going to, anytime I eat any type of Asian food, I always have tea with it. So I'm going to try that tonight. And I'll let you guys know, but I'm looking forward to it. I love a good cup of tea. And there's this paternity king. Albert of Monaco poses for a photo with his 2 children by former lovers for the first time. The royal 64 wraps his arms around son and daughter after Prince's relationship with ex-Air France hostess and a U.S. waitress. Okay? So finally, our little pudgy prince is acknowledging his children. Children. He's acknowledging his children. Now, I believe that biracial young man with his beautiful, and I do mean beautiful, I mean his mother is absolutely runway ready, gorgeous. And when I say runway, I ain't talking about air hostess. I'm talking about fashion houses of Paris and Milan, beautiful. And anyway, it's a good thing that his mother is beautiful because there are no good looks to be had. I promise you, you don't go to the Grimaldi side of the family for looks. You would never defer to Albert's side of the family for looks. So all the good looks that young man has is from his mother, the former air hostess, and not from his father, because his father, that little porker, he he ain't much to look at. So all the looks that young man has comes from his mother, as evident by that photo. There's nothing to be had from being the spawn of Prince Albert. Nothing at all. Well, there's some money, but I don't know. I'd rather be Poe. I'd rather be Poe. I think I'd rather be Poe because, and not that I'm being so super. Yes, I am. I am being superficial, but looks ain't everything. But I think I'd rather be Poe because having that Albert gene doesn't get one very far in life. Well, I mean, let's not get carried away. I mean, I wouldn't turn down the money, but but that young man really should be the future Prince of Monaco. But because his mother and father were not wed, that's not possible. So, um, yeah. And then, okay, what I found out a long time ago is that there is a law in Monaco that if there is ever a time when there is no heir to the throne, then the principality would actually go to France. It will become part of France. So that is the rule. Is that if there is no Prince of Monaco and they don't allow the women to rule, but I think because he is the sovereign, I would think that rule can change if he wants it to. But apparently, he is satisfied with the status quo. Um, but yeah, so it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that he is, fulfilling his commitment and what have you. But you know what I mean? I feel like okay, there was a paternity test required. The air hostess as well as the U.S. waitress was going to take Albert to court, and if Albert would have gone to court, they would have forced. And I think they did do a DNA test. I do think they did actually do a DNA test. And I don't know how that's possible if you're the sovereign that you wouldn't be immune for taking a DNA test, but however it happened, it did happen, and he did have to take one. And so eventually he acknowledged the paternity of the young man. So again, thank goodness he's not saddled with that Grimaldi gene. Otherwise, he would have to wake up every day and look in the mirror and see every day, every day he'd have to wake up and see Albert looking back at him. I'd much rather look at his mama than look at his daddy. So, fortunately for him, like I said, fortunately for him, um, he's not stuck with that problem. And it's amazing too, because his Albert's mother was Grace Kelly, one of the most beautiful women ever in Hollywood. So how in the world did that happen? How did that happen? Why is there so much of that Grimaldi gene coursing through Albert's blood? I ask you. Huh? uh, how how is that possible? It just goes to show that bad genes happen to royal people. Is that what I'm trying to say? Is that bad? Okay, you guys, I'm gonna have to do something because I want to share a couple of photos with you guys. So I am gonna have to open up another channel and close out this one. So just bear with me for a second. You know how it is when I want to look at another slide, I have to open up another screen to do it. So there, there's that echo. Today, I feel like the luckiest man on the face of the earth. All right. I know some of you guys are like, what is happening right now? All right. I got it fixed. So I got everything the way I need it, and I am ready to continue. All right. Let me get rid of that. That was from the other day. Let me see. Remove that. So I mentioned that Grimaldi gene, right? Well, there is his mother, the air hostess, and there's Albert. You see what I'm saying? I'll say this much. Albert has a nice smile. Albert has a nice smile. He does. He has a nice smile. But the rest of him is just jacked up. Like, for instance, I hope that poor child don't get that Grimaldi hairline. Please don't get that Grimaldi hairline. If your hairline starts like on the back of your neck, that's that Grimaldi gene. Am I being too superficial? But that's that Grimaldi gene. If your hairline starts on the back of your neck, then you probably got too much Grimaldi. You got too much Grimaldi. Now look at that. See, look at that nice looking young man right there. He's gonna grow up, and he. I mean, well, he's already grown almost, but he's quite a looker. But then there's his father. Now that's his sister on the right side, and that's his sister's mother. I'm sorry, his sister's on the left, and I believe is that her mother? I think that's her mother, or maybe I don't know who that is, or maybe that's another one of those kids. Because we know that Albert has two confirmed kids out of wedlock, But maybe is that the girl's mama or is that another kid? I can't tell. But I'm telling you, when you rich, boy, I tell you, you get around, don't you? Albert has access like nobody else I know. But what is it about those pudgy princes from Europe that seems to get them in trouble? Them little pudgy princes. I mean, look at his little pudgy self, little Elmer Fudd, little bald head pudgy self. He's almost cute. He's so pudgy and unfortunate looking, but he is an unfortunate looking individual. Um, and that again, that is brother and sister. There, they got two different mamas, but that's brother and sister. Her mama's a waitress, and his mama was the air hostess. Maybe it's something about people bring. maybe, maybe it's something about maybe it's something about people bring. Okay, maybe it's something about people bringing him food that gets him all hot and bothered. You know what I mean? Maybe that food is like an aphrodisiac. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, what are they feeding them? Clams or escargot? Something. Something must. What is it that gets you aroused? But it must be something. But and then I started thinking, you never see Prince Albert and Elmer Fudd in the same room at the same time. Have you noticed that? I know I said that before, but you never see the two of them together. You either see Albert or Elmer, but you never. but but I just realized that it seemed like when people bring him food, they end up getting pregnant. If you bring him, I mean, he can get you pregnant over a dinner salad. You know that? Not that he eats much salad. Not that he eats much salad, but if you bring him a steak, somebody's gonna get pregnant. That's all I'm saying. If you bring him a plate of food, you're likely to get pregnant. So, unless you are using a contraceptive, I don't think that women should be allowed to wait on him because it's just so weird. I mean, they bring the food, and then 9 months later, there's another Grimaldi to feed. Oh man. So I'm just saying, if you are a member of the wait staff and you encounter that is Albert Grimaldi, Prince of Monaco, just make sure that you are using a contraceptive because otherwise you might end up giving birth to another one of them Grimaldis. And let's hope that they don't look like Albert. Be very quiet. The waitress is bringing food. I could imagine him saying that like Elmer Fudd. Be very quiet. The waitress is bringing food. But again, it is something about those pudgy princes of Europe. And wait, and just when you thought he couldn't look any stranger, then he had the nerves to grow a mustache. I mean, side by side, they look like twins, don't they? Well, except for the hair thing. But it's something about those pudgy princes that seems to be like an aphrodisiac. All of a sudden, women just find themselves at their mercy for some reason, literally and figuratively. Uh, Pomerose 71 says Prince Rainier changed the whole law, that is, to keep the kids from ascending the throne when he found out that Albert was having. Oh, did he? He didn't do that until he got that black woman pregnant, and Albert never changed it. I'm sure. I'm sure. Like I say, stuff always change when somebody black show up. All of a sudden, the rules change. They always move the goalposts when somebody black show up. So, thank you for that bit of information. I didn't realize it was his father that changed the rule when he got the black girl pregnant. Okay, now it makes sense. And you know what? His father wasn't that good looking either. I'm just gonna say it. Since you told me that, I'm just gonna say it. He wasn't that good looking either. He looked well. I don't want to talk about the man because he gone, but he wasn't that attractive. And it's just his father was so unattractive that even Grace Kelly couldn't smooth things out. So it took another generation. It took an air hostess and a whole nother generation before you finally got an attractive. I mean, look at there. Be very quiet. The waitress is bringing food. Be very quiet. We're hunting rabbits. The waitress, we're hunting rabbits, and the waitress is bringing food. So be very quiet. Oh, man. Well, Pomerose, thank you so much for that information, and thank you for the super chat. And also, thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex. But yeah, uh, I'm just saying, you guys, if you know of anyone who's likely to serve a plate of food to Albert of Monaco, just warn them about his proclivities and the ability to impregnate somebody over a dinner salad. Oh man. But I just noticed that. I just noticed that tonight that is something there. A waitress and an air hostess. So if you serve food to Albert, you might get knocked up. That's the truth. Serving food to him. Now obviously, let me see. Well, she was an Olympic swimmer, right? Well, as mentioned, they changed the law where, of course, the biracial son could never sit on the throne. And there's Albert waving that little chubby hand to his after he took his wife's passport, allegedly, so that she couldn't leave the country. I don't know, was it she saw him naked or something, but she was going to marry him. And then she took a good look and said, nope. She did. She said, nope, nope, and tried to flee the country. And somehow he convinced her to come back. But I'm just saying, it's a very interesting story. Now, I got another royal thing that I was going to talk about. Let me see if I can find it. That was just one of them, but there's another. Now, I don't know much about this other family, but I'm going to just show you the latest news about them if you don't mind. There it is. Princess Martha Louise, the daughter of Norway's King Harald, is stepping down from royal duties in the wake of controversy over her engagement. The 50-year-old, who is fourth in line to the throne, got engaged to Durek Verrett in June. I thought they was married already. Now, here's what I'm going to say about this, and this is very delicate. I don't know much about him, but they say that he's a shaman. Okay? He's a shaman. And they said that the people of Norway don't like him that much, and that they, they don't. I don't know if it's the aesthetic of the two of them together, or is it the fact that when you ask people, well, what does he do? He's a shaman. No, for real. What kind of work does he do? I just told you. He's a shaman. Uh-huh. Okay, well, if you didn't want to tell me, all you got to do is say so. I just told you. He's a shaman. A shaman. Okay. That's all I got to say about that. I don't know nothing about him. He might be the nicest person in the world, but if you bring somebody home to your family and your mama say, oh yeah, he's very polite. Oh yeah. Tall too. What does he do for a living? He's a shaman. No, for real. A shaman. Are you talking about toilet tissue? No, that's Charmin. He's a shaman. Oh, okay. All right, so what does he do? I just told you he's a shaman. Well, to each their own. I'm sure they have a lovely relationship. Now, there are some people who will contend that race is at play. I don't know enough about him. I don't know how the people of Norway see him. I don't know nothing about him. But I'm telling you, please never bring a shaman home to my house. I am, you know what I'm saying? I am from a Judeo-Christian thing, and I might find that a little off-putting in some degree. So I don't know. I mean, they make an adorable couple, but he's a shaman. That's it. That's all I have to say. Uh oh, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's the same thing that happened with Prince Philip, the penniless duke. It's the same thing that happened with the Queen of the Netherlands' husband. He was an outsider, a foreigner. Um, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? I guess when it's a woman that is part of the family, like for instance, you didn't hear any outrage about Beatrice and Eugenie. One of them married a bartender, and the other one, I forgot what he does. What's his name? Monopoly. I guess his family invented the game. So one of them is married to Jack Brooksbank, who is I was about to say pharmacist. Well, under certain circumstances, alcohol is a bit of a medication. But she's married to the bartender. And what does Monopoly do? The other one, her husband's name is Monopoly. I think his family created the board game. So maybe that's what he does. Maybe he works for Parker Brothers or something. But yeah, so if she could bring home a bartender, then surely she can. Well, no, I find it hard to look past Shaman. Joanna, I'm afraid. I don't want to look at it because I'm afraid of what I'll see. But okay, I'll take a look. But they had me at Shaman. Okay, you had me at Shaman. Once I heard Shaman, I didn't look any further because I didn't want to know. I didn't want to know. I thought Shaman sounded different. Okay, I'll just say different. Well, I saw that interview and he talks a lot. As a matter of fact, given the situation he in, he must be a darn good talker. Okay. Uh, Derek Verrett, born November 17th. God help me, he is a Scorpio. 1974. An American businessman, alternative therapist, self-professed shaman, and author. He advocates several conspiracy theories. There we go. That's it. Several conspiracy theories and has been characterized by Norwegian media and other critics as okay, well, it's in the public domain. A con man. He is engaged to Princess Martha Louise, and that is alleged that he's a con man. I don't know him, lawyers. Wait a minute. Let me see. Baron, stop mashing up people's names. Beatrice's husband is Mapelli Mosey. That sounds like an alcoholic beverage. Yes, could I have another Mapelli Mosey? It's not Monopoly. Okay. Okay, it's not Monopoly. It's Mapelli Mosey. Okay, that's pretty. Mapelli Mosey. Oh man. Could you imagine trying to send a steak back and they say, who sent this steak back? Mapelli Mosey? Do what? Mapelli Mosey. Uh-huh. Okay. Excuse me. My sinuses. I'm getting a bit of postnasal drip. So, and okay, so Beatrice is married to that name, and the other one is married. Oh wait, Baron, he isn't a bartender. He's a buyer seller of spirits. Ain't that a bartender? He's a buyer seller of spirits. The other one is from a very rich, influential Italian family. Oh, okay. Okay. Well, that explains it then. I tell you what, the other one, he's easy on the eyes, isn't he? Jack Brooksbank. Jack Brooksbank, he always looked like he's just surprised he's there, right? He always had that surprised look on his face, like surprise. I just found out I'm not a bartender. I buy and sell spirits. Surprise. like, like right now, I'm surprised that he's not. I thought he was a bartender, but he's. Oh, Baron, he's not. He isn't a bartender. He is a buyer and seller of spirits. The other one is from a very rich, influential Italian family. Well, excuse me. I thought he was a bartender. Now, usually when people are selling spirits, that's a bartender as far as I'm concerned. I mean, What else is a bartender? Beverly, I trust you implicitly. I trust you. But are you sure? Are you sure he's not a bartender? And maybe they just kind of dressed it up a little bit so that he would be, shall we say, more palatable for the rest of the family. That they kind of gave him a little bit of a bougie title so that he would seem more palatable for the masses. And hence we won't assume that he is from a bit of riffraff. But seriously though, every time you see him, he always looks like he just so surprised. Like, oh, I can't believe I'm here. But he do look surprised. Let me see here. Lydia says you have mixed up. I mean, you have them mixed up. The man with the surprised look is married to Beatrice and comes from the rich Italian family. Oh, you're right about that. That yes. He's the one that was standing next to Beatrice, and his eyes got big too, because that big eye thing is kind of contagious. I think you're right. You're right. Okay, the big eye thing can be contagious, and he seemed to have picked up a case of Jeepers Creepers. Where'd you get them peepers? he 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 been he been hanging around her so much his eyes are big. So yeah, you're right about that. Mapelli, Mapelli Mosey, Mapelli Mosey. Is that right though? Is it really Mapelli Mosey? And he's from a rich Italian family. And the other one, Jax Brookbanks, that's the bartender. I mean, I'm sorry, he procures he procures wine and spirits. Right. Let me get it right now, because uh, McCaskill told me that I was mislabeling him. So he procures and dispenses um wine and spirits. Okay, got it. So let me see if I can find Mapelli. Let me see if I can find Mapelli. Oh yeah, I see what you mean. Oh yeah, he's got some serious high beams now. He'd have been hanging around that girl so much, now his eyes are doing. he been, he been he been hanging around that family so much, now his eyes. now, now, now he's doing it too. now, I gotta stop. Oh boy. But seriously though, he'd have been hanging around that family so much. Now his eyes are looking funny. Oh man. Just a chip off the old father-in-law. Oh man. But yeah, that's true though. He'd have been hanging around with them people so much. Now his eyes is getting funny. I hope he don't end up getting in trouble. Cause the other ones, yeah. Okay. I see what you mean. Okay, you guys, I found the picture of him, and I'm gonna share the picture with you so y'all can see what we talking about. Let me see. That's his picture. Let me find the other one picture. Um, so Jack Brooksbank, the one that procures alcoholic beverages for people, he's the one that was on the boat. with that girl that took the topless picture. I remember that. So yeah, that's him. Okay. Oh, that's bad. Okay, I got to share that one because she doing it again. Those eyes are kind of hypnotic, aren't they? They are kind of hypnotic. Okay, let me share it with you guys. Oh man. Let me see. Gives a whole new meaning to eyes wide open. Yeah, it does. uh, to say the least, it does. It does give a whole new meaning to it. Yeah, but that what's his name? The Italian guy. He's very nice looking. Let me see here. So, see what I mean? He done been hanging around that family so much. Now he got it too. And he wasn't like that when he got there. He he wasn't even like that when he got there. But now you can see see him looking at you a mile away. But he wasn't like that when he got to that family. But I guess in order to be competitive, you have to. Let me see. See what I mean? Like 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 stepfather, like I'm not son, like father-in-law, like son-in-law. There you go. See? But she didn't catch it. What's the name? Is that Eugenie or Beatrice? Which one is Beatrice and which is Eugenie? You know they the same people. I can't remember which is which. I can never remember which is which. So I'm gonna have to remember who's peepers to know which one is which is which. Jeepers creepers, where'd you get those Oh, super chat. They told her she could play with him and not marry him. Stepping down my behind, they snatched her up quick and gave her the business. Really? Okay. So because of the engagement, oh yeah, let me go back to that Wikipedia because I had started looking at it and then I stopped. Now I don't even know where it is. Okay, Wikipedia. You know what? I done lost the darn thing. Let me see. Oh, there it is. There it is. Career is limited. Okay, Verrett has a very limited early career as a model in appearances on television. Vanity Fair wrote about Verrett being bisexual. Wow. And summoned his early activities up as an eclectic early career, and this helped propel his brand of new age shamanism. Okay, I think I'm done. Cause I tell you, when I saw Shaman, I was done. I was done with that. I don't know what it's about, and it just sounds different. I'll just say it's different, and I don't want to have anything to do with it. Interesting. Thank you so much, Pomeroz, for that information. Because if not, I probably wouldn't have went back and took a second look at it. Okay, so she's with him. They seem to be happy, and she's stepping back from royal duty. And to each their own. All's well that ends well. And I'm just wondering how soon before they cut her money off. Let me see there. Okay, Beatrice is the older sister with the peepers. Can you believe we're having this conversation? Beatrice is the older. Could you imagine if this was a documentary and I'd be like, Beatrice is the older daughter with the peepers? Oh man. Yeah, well, if that is the case, if she does have a thyroid problem, then it must run in the family because look at him. Look at him. And he doesn't do it all the time. And let me see. I mean, she almost looks normal there. I mean, not that she looks abnormal. Not that she looks abnormal, but you know what I mean. So, okay, so she also practices an alternative religion. Yeah. Well, you know what? You know what? I mean, I'm not a prude, okay? I'm not a prude, and I I'm just saying I can see why there's concern. I can see why there's concern because their brand is the royal family, and um that's their brand, and they're not the most expensive royal family in Europe, that's for sure. um I don't know anything about him. I don't know how he is with her, and I don't know. Oh God, really? Huh, okay. Yeah, I'm just being very careful not to be too judgmental about it, but all I'm saying is I hope my children never bring home a shaman. That's it. Yep, whatever you do, please don't bring home a shaman. Bring Charmin, not shaman. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she went to the store to get some toilet paper and she misunderstood. She didn't understand the instructions. They probably said, "Yeah, love, can you go and get us some more of that Charmin?" And she went to the grocery store and met a shaman. Oh man, I'm not even sure what that means. I'm being silly now. But yeah, maybe she didn't understand the instructions. She was supposed to come home with some Charmin, and instead she put a big Shaman in her shopping cart and pushed that around the store until she got up front. And the next thing you know, she was at the palace with him. Yeah, you know what, Gwendolyn, you're bailing at just the right time because now I'm really getting weird. So it ain't gonna get much better than this. So may as well say goodnight. Okay, all right. So that's enough about the shaman, the bartender, and the hot Italian with the peepers. Okay, that's enough about them. Uh, excuse me. This church, this church. Um, oh, what the heck is the name of that church? Now I forgot what the name of the church is. Well, anyway, it's in the UK and it is prone to flooding every year. Now, this is an old photo that I came across while prepping for today's show, and I thought I would share it with you. That is one of the most haunting images that you'll ever find in a church. Is this sculpture? Uh, you know, ankle knee deep in the water. I love it. This is like one of my favorites. Is this one right here? So just thought I would share that with you. Beautiful, beautiful sculpture. You know what? Yeah. Okay, that's it. So there's that. And I'm done. I am so done, you guys. That was all I wanted to share was this, and I'm done. But yeah, I love that. Does anybody know the name of it? Anybody know the name of this sculpture? I'd have to try to find the photo again to give you the name. But you guys are such great investigators. I am so sure that you will find it before we leave today. Excuse me. Um It's Trenchtown Man? Do you think the sculpture is Trenchtown Man? You think that sculpture is waiting to with the odd chance that Prince William is going to walk past, and so he's being very patient and waiting through the water for. I mean, it's not like William is going to come through wearing his wellies, his Wellington boots, and all of a sudden encounter.
Yes, Prince. Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
That statue is like that statue is Trenchtown man waiting to pounce. Oh man, that would be a clever surprise if William was unveiling the statue and all of a sudden when he pulls the cloth off the statue, all of a sudden it's Trenchtown man.
Yes, Prince.
That would be rich. It's twee billion, no, $345 billion. Tree 340. Now you know you serious when you say 300. That means you want your money. Oh well. So you guys, love is love, and I don't want to judge. I don't want to judge anybody. I don't even want to judge this portly, unfortunately, Elmer Fudd looking person. I just don't want to judge anybody, but I would find it odd if somebody brought a shaman home and said, I'm in love with this shaman. Not that shamans don't deserve love too, but it is such a is you know what I mean? And given some of the stuff that people have said about him, I mean, did somebody just show me his net worth or something like that? They were saying how much his net worth was. I'm just saying that for someone in her position, I mean, as much as we like to believe that love conquers all, and if people love each other, why not? But still, I would have to say income. The income. His income would be a big deal maker or breaker. I just want to know, does he work? What kind of work does he do? Because I don't care what society you live in and how progressive people are. If the man ain't got a job, that's an issue. And I'm so glad that Prince Harry has shown that even away from the safety of the royal family bosom, that he is more than capable of carrying his own weight as well as supporting his family. That man has worked very, very hard to secure a safe and nurturing place for his family to flourish. And so I'm so proud of Harry. So I don't know anything about the shaman. I don't know what his income is like, but whatever is going on, if he's not a man of means, then I could understand why people would give him the side eye. Anna Boyd, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for watching Royal Sussex, and happy Tuesday to you. Thank you so much for being here. I'm going to investigate that thing about Sharian because I love her so much, and I hope everything is okay, but I haven't heard anything about it. So I hope that she's not having any kind of problems. I mean, I couldn't imagine why. She's so professional. You know, she's so professional. And I'm like in awe of how well put together her channel is. So I really admire her a whole lot. And I, you know, fully um enjoy her work. Um oh yeah, I don't see it. I don't see her channel anywhere. Now that last video she uploaded, there was an issue with the sound quality. So I could understand if she took that one away. But you guys are saying that the entire, yeah, even the old videos are gone. Maybe I hope she's gonna just like rebrand or something. I hope there's no problem. Uh oh, really? Really? Is that so? Well, um he's a talker. I'll say this much for him. He's a talker. I mean, anybody talk more than I do is a talker, and he's a talker. So yes, now I'm concerned. Oh my God. That is so weird. Wow. That is so weird. Oh well. Um I hope everything's okay, but that is very weird. Wow. Interesting. You know what? I wonder, let me see if there's any mention of this on the Twitter sphere, because I know she's on Twitter. Let me see if there's any mention about anything on Twitter. But that is so odd, and I truly do adore her. Okay, so the last time she posted was an hour ago, but again, there's no mention. Oh, she did mention it on Twitter. Okay. Okay, I'm scrolling through. Let me make sure. Oh, you got to watch the video to get the explanation? Let me see. Let me see.
Going to be doing an Archetypes podcast recap with episode 9, To Be or Not to Be. Before we get started, I want to go ahead and say a big hello to the friend circle, and I'm going to. But when I looked her up, as far as just.
Okay, so I see the video is on the Patreon, but I don't see it on the. Wow. Okay, and I don't see any mention about what's happened to the channel. So I'm looking at the Twitter. I don't see any mention about it. So sometimes things end, so better things can begin. My content has purpose. I decided not to wait on YouTube to decide my faith. I've moved over to Patreon. Okay. Okay, so she's over on Patreon. So that's the mention. Very strange. Very strange. Okay, and now I'm seeing some things. Okay, so you guys, I don't know what happened, but this is what I'll say is that um um oh gosh, what is the name of that channel? Okay, this may just be a huge mistake. Um what is my the channel with those kids? I call them kids, but Novara Media, Tisky Sour. That happened to them where one day their channel just disappeared. All of their content was gone. And then for whatever reason, without ceremony, after about a day, it was back on. It was reinstated. So there's always that possibility that it could have just been a mistake. And I hope that that's all that okay. Well, like I said, I just Black Queen, I just went over to her Patreon. And I got the link for her Patreon from Twitter. And so by going on the Patreon, she actually has a video there. So she said she's going to upload her content to the Patreon. She says, I'm not waiting on YouTube. I am going to upload my content to the Patreon. But that is strange. I mean, we've all watched her channel, and I couldn't imagine what could have happened. What? Oh yeah. Yeah, you got to be very careful with that monetization. You got to be very careful with that. I've had several videos that were not monetized, but um sometimes they can be very what do you call it? They can be very strict about the copyright. Yeah, she did do a live last night. But the sound quality on the live was really bad, and I don't know if she was aware of it or not. And so I'm thinking, oh, okay, she must have just removed that video, but it looks like the whole channel is gone. But don't give up, you guys. Have faith. It may just be a misunderstanding, and hopefully they'll put her channel back up soon. But yeah, if you want to, I'm not I'm not a subscriber to hers on Patreon, but clearly I can watch the video on Patreon. It says, thank you for joining Sherry and Sade Patreon.
And if you're returning, welcome back to my channel. Today is an art.
See, clearly you can hear her voice. So she does have one of her videos loaded to the Patreon right now. So let me see. Let me see if I can find a link for the Patreon. I'll share the link with you guys. Let me see. How did I do that? Oh, okay. So this is the link for the Patreon. So you can go and watch even if you're not a subscriber to her Patreon. You can go there and watch it like that. So okay, so what I want to do is to pin that to the top of the chat. That's what I want to do now. Okay, so the link is at the top of the chat. So if you would like to go and show her some support, you can go over there and watch on her Patreon. But that is so weird. I couldn't imagine what happened. I mean, we've all watched her videos and everything, and she's such a pleasant, polite, professional person. So Oh, I don't get it. I don't get it. Yeah. But yes, I'm sorry that happened. That is weird though. I'm just like I'm shocked. I'm shocked, shocked, shocked. When you guys said that her I'm thinking it must have just been a video, right? I didn't realize it was the entire channel. Very strange. Let me see. But yeah, Thrive, be very, very careful with that monetization because they are very strict with that. So you have to make sure that you're not using any of that intellectual stuff because I think they give you like one or two warnings, and then after that you can lose your monetization privilege. So um, just make sure you're being careful. Uh Wow, I'm very sad because Sherian is such a powerful voice, you know? I mean, the first time I saw her, I'm like, who is this person? She's so good, you know? So professional. It's like I'm like, why aren't you on a network or something professional? So there you go. Let me see. If those people get both houses back, they can invite the right wing British. Oh yeah, can have him come over and yeah. Well, there is a right wing movement, and Black Queen. We all know it has to do with the math. The Western industrialized world as we know it is getting browner by the day, and that seems to upset a lot of people. Um, and let's let's just say that some of the old world empires have had quite brutal histories around the world, and you have people peacefully coming to Britain, France, Italy, Germany. I mean, people are peacefully assimilating themselves into those countries, and that is causing panic. At least they're not coming in with guns and what is that? Warships and stuff like that. They are just looking for a better life. I don't know why that's a crime, but again, I think it's just a reaction to the fact that some of these countries are getting browner by the day. But you know, you've seen my DNA. I have no control over how much of European blood that I have is there already. So um, that didn't happen because somebody fell in love. That happened because of the history. So it's just something that people are gonna have to live with. I mean, that's all Brexit was about. Brexit was about brown people, how to prevent the brown people from coming. That is why Brexit happened. Okay. All right, you guys. I think we're good. And let's pray for our sister Sherry and Charday that her channel comes back up soon because, again, she is such an important voice in the Sussex squad. And even though I have fun with that, thank you for clicking on my channel. I mean, I only do that because I love her so much. So, um, I'll be looking forward to seeing her on the YouTube again. Okay. All right, you guys, we are good then. let's say thank you to our three queens. And our three queens are Lila, who voted today. Lila is one of our queens. And of course, our queen of hearts, and our queen of everything, and our queen of everybody needs to get their hands up and go out and vote. Lila. Lila is the queen of the day. Okay, you guys, thank you so much. All right, and I don't think Sherry Ware was on today, right? So no list for me. Let me double check. You know, I got the sometimers. Sometimes I remember, sometimes I don't. Oh no, Sherry Ware. I don't have a list. So, thank you everyone for your contributions. Thank you to our amazing mod squad for helping to keep this a safe space. What am I saying, helping? I don't see most of the stuff y'all do, so thank you for keeping this a safe space. Because if it was up to me, you know, I barely see most of the conversations, but you guys do, and I greatly appreciate that, as well as the rest of our squad. Good night, Joseph Bernal. Good night, Mavis Batson. Good night, Elaine Parker. Thank you for staying up late. Mad World, good night. Good night, Cypher. Madison Bonaparte. Catherine Bryant, good night. Diamonds, Pearls, Gems, good night. Yep. Oh my goodness, what did I say? I've been sick last week or so. You know, guys, I haven't had a significant cold of any kind since the start of the pandemic. I will continue to wear my mask, if only to avoid anybody's germs for any reason. I don't ever want to be sick again. And I thought I was coming down with something, and I took a double dose of vitamin C, D3, zinc. I even took iron. I took everything I thought I could take to prevent from getting sick, because I don't want to be sick. So, okay. Oh, is Connie still here? I thought Connie may have gone to bed by now. Naomi, good night. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pomerose. And who else? Kids Indoor, good night. And thank you, Anna Boyd. Okay, now it's coming back to me. Okay, that's what's up. The family should be happy for her. She's 50 years old, and this is her first marriage. Let the woman live her life. You're right, Beverly. You're right. I hope that I hope they're both happy together. I don't want to rain on nobody's parade. Let them be happy. And we don't know him like she does, right? And what's important is what they are to each other, and not other people's outside influences. That's for sure. I'm going to be open-minded, and I'm going to, I'm going to hope and pray that they enjoy each other's community. Yeah, vitamin C and zinc. That is like the bedrock of any good immune regimen. Vitamin C and zinc. D3 is also very good. And rest. Because when we're very tired, our resistance is lower. Yeah. Yeah, I will admit though, with the shaman, I think I have some preconceived notions, and I'm going to try to dispel that because um, everybody deserves a chance for happiness, and if this is her opportunity for happiness, it'd be a shame if anybody's prejudice, if you will, including my own, wouldn't it be a shame if I contribute to that kind of conversation for her, and yet I'm defending the Sussexes, and I'm going to be very forthcoming in saying that is not my intention. So, um, I mean, I've seen the interview, and right, right. Choosing my words carefully. But yeah, I just hope they're happy together. That's what's important. Ray Raquel, I will be the last one to wear my mask. I don't know about you. You might be the next to last. I am going to be the last. Now, maybe you'll be the last and I'll be the next to last. But between us, we will be the last two human beings on this planet wearing a face mask. I could assure you of that. And on that, I am unanimous that I will be one of the last people to take that mask off because I don't want to catch nobody's cooties. None. I don't want to be sick again. Ever. And I've managed to get through this pandemic without the pandemic. So I intend to complete that. I only ever took one test, and that of course was negative, but I hadn't even been tested because I was very certain I hadn't even been exposed to anybody. Carolyn Tubbs, keep doing that. I just, the idea of breathing in everybody's droplets, like if you go to a big gathering or something, that could have never been a good idea. Yeah, absolutely. It's important, sister. It is very important. Just before the pandemic, in I think it was January, or no, it was February of 2020. I was in Japan, and they were just talking about this respiratory illness, and I don't even know if it had a name, but they were just talking about it. And so I was staying at a hostel at one of those pod hotels where you crawl up inside the bunk bed. And I was staying at one of those places, and I was thinking about it the whole time I was there. And when I was on the train, I actually it was wintertime, so I had a scarf around my face. And I I remember just before I checked out, when I was gathering my belongings to leave, there was like a businessman. He was wearing a suit and everything. And, the Japanese businessmen, the ones who are climbing up the corporate ladder, they will stay at those pod hotels. And he may have not been Japanese, he could have been from some other country. But anyway, he had this horrible death rattle. And I was like, oh my God, he's got it. I covered up my face with my shirt and got the Frappuccino out of there so fast to avoid him. Um, Nina Snow, you have a good point there, because they do say that a lot of the children that are suffering these respiratory problems now is because during the pandemic they hadn't built up any resistance to anything because they weren't exposed to anybody. I won't disagree with you, but I'm still going to wear my mask. I'm not going to disagree. I trust the science, and what you say is very scientific. But I'm still going to wear my mask. I agree with you. That's how we build up our resistance. But I'm just not ready to be sick. Oh, man. If that's the building blocks of a strong immunity, I guess I'm going to do myself in because I ain't ready for that. Okay. So when somebody sneezes, I give them the side eye. I'm just like, who's coughing? Did somebody just sneeze? Okay, you guys, we're good. Let's ginger avenge ourselves out of here. Our last word of the day is I wore mine all day while working the polls. I got looks. I didn't care. It's about my health. Okay, Sharon, that is our last word of the day. I got looks and I didn't care. Thank you so much for that. Those very sage words of advice. And thank you. All right, everyone. Love you. God bless. And let's pray that Sharon's channel is up soon, because she is a force of nature when it comes to her channel. And I have so much respect for her. So let's hope that she's back up and running soon, because we need her. Okay? Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Love you guys. And I will catch you later. Let's ginge avenge. Thank you for those wise last words of the day. Hit it, Harry.
Why is it so important for you to vote today?
Well, because we need to vote. We we need to vote. I think that's important.
And why is it so important for you to vote today?
All right, you guys heard her. Because we need to vote. It's very important that we vote. That's why it's so important. I think she's wonderful. Very, very, very important. 82 years old. Lila Moore, 82 years old. I tell you guys, I am so inspired today. I really am. And from watching Archetypes and witnessing Lila on her way to the polls, I feel inspired. And now I need to eat something. I need to go and eat something. So I have to sort out dinner. And I'll be good. You tell him, Black Queen. You tell him. Shame on those who didn't vote. Lila is my hero of the day, though. When I saw that photo of her, my heart just went out. Looking at that, that my heart went out. My eyes literally began to well up when I saw this. I was so touched by it. Yeah. And one thing I'm very sensitive about is anybody that that looks like my mother or my grandmother. That is something that I feel very strongly about, is the need to defend them. You know, that is where I'm super sensitive, is seeing someone I can identify as any of the women that have raised me in my life. When I see that they're in a vulnerable position, then I feel compelled to do something, you know. So there you go. Thank you, Anastasia. I appreciate you voting. All right. So tomorrow, let's see what the Sussexes have for us. I'm sure it will be something amazing. It always is. We're on the right side of history, guys. We are on the right side of history. And don't forget it. Don't let any of these circumstances get you down when you know that you're on the right side of history. That's what's important, is that you're on the right side of history. Okay, folks. I know I keep saying I'm going to leave, but I'm sitting here and I'm thinking and all of that. But great day today. Great day. And let's hope it's better when the results of the election comes out. Unless you guys want to watch Once Upon a Time again, we could do that. What's that? Did I hear you say you want to watch Once Upon a Time again? Okay, let me see if I can find that one, and then we'll say goodnight. We'll do the Once Upon a Time, and then I am not coming back after that. But Once Upon a Time, Once Upon a Time, here it comes.